I like it. You got that tousled look in your hair there. Me, I'm
My
just getting
hair does,
grayer by the
it
minute.
just
Yeah.
does what it wants to do.
Yes, it does.
I'm not a girly girl, I got to tell you.
I hadn't noticed.
I
I think you could beat me up in a fight.
I've I've been a tomboy my whole life. Well, I have brothers,
I know.
I
So
had to be tough.
you got treated like a boy your whole
It's,
life. So you that's what you
but my
know.
mother was the most elegant, lovely,
Classy.
classy woman. And I said to her one day when I was in high school, Ma, how did you birth me? And she laughed.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, for those of you that are jumping on right now, any questions you have, throw them up in the comment section. We'll get to those. Man, we had a lot last week. That was really good. So hopefully we'll be able to do that again. So
Yeah.
if you're ready, Claudia,
I'm ready.
we'll start.
I'm ready.
Welcome to Good Health by Claudia podcast with me, Denny Schaefer, a production of Denny Radio. It's podcast and Facebook Live. It's episode 16. Yay! Today, we will be talking about the impact of petrotoxins and how they affect our health. The big part of what's feeding yeast overgrowth in millions of us are those evil petrotoxins. Let's start there because this is kind of a continuation from last week.
Yes.
Which was awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
What are petrotoxins?
So the reason I enjoy speaking about this conversation because I think it's very important because it's something that we're all being exposed to. Just very few people know it. So anyone that's come in our store over the last 30 years, they've heard us talk about fungal issues and petrotoxins, how it's all one is feeding, petrotoxins are feeding the fungus. And Dr. Trowbridge, I didn't bring the book this week, but he actually talks about in the book how they know that these petrotoxins and what they're becoming actually feed the fungal issue. So it's all one conversation.
So the petrotoxins feed the fungal, and then the fungal makes us feel lousy.
Exactly.
There you go. I get a star.
There you go.
So that's what I want to get rid of. I want to make sure if I'm like innocently taking or inhaling petrotoxins, because like I imagine it's besides the food, can it be in the air?
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. So, okay. So you got to learn all of that. What's leading to the fungal, which is leading to you feeling lousy, no energy, you can't lose weight, and you don't know what's going on.
All this
Got
stuff.
it.
So here's the deal with petrotoxins. So they've been around a long time. They discovered petroleum back in the 1860s or late 50s, whatever it was. And of course, as we move forward in history, World War I, they created certain chemicals. And then by the time we got to World War II, they were doing all this more research on stuff. And petrotoxins have been around a long time. And when the issue with them and why they're so important is because in this day and age, nobody can avoid them. They're a part of our world. They're a part of our life. They're a part of our health or lack of it. So they're an impact that we are surrounded with. And the issue with petrotoxins is they're all fat soluble. So what that means is they're stored in the body. And literally they have been passed. So we've inherited them because they're being passed generation to generation. We're inheriting them, we're accumulating them, and we're passing them on. I think I mentioned a few episodes back, I was reading an article that, was they were talking about how we know through research that babies are literally from the first day they're born, they have over 200 petrotoxic derivatives in their blood from the day they're born.
Wow.
It's very serious stuff. So what we've learned over the years is we can't avoid them. So our power becomes understanding where they're coming in, how they're coming in, and within our own home, making changes to the best that we are able to reduce our exposure. So all of that said, we know that petrotoxins, that petro is, there's over 80,000 derivatives of petrotoxins. 80,000.
Wow.
That's a lot of stuff. And I brought this book. Now, I told everybody for years, this is a great book. Forget the title because it says what your doctor may not tell you about premenopause. I've done years of classes on this. So I always tell everybody, read the book, forget the title, because what we know is that because we are all being exposed, where we used to think that hormonal issues and all these things would just belong to women. Now we're seeing them in men. So here's what's happening with all these 80,000 derivatives of Petro. It doesn't matter if they put them in the food, which they do. They're putting them in everyday body care. That's parabens and phthalates, and you read these things on the label, but nobody knows what they are. So with this impact, and they're being stored, here's what they're doing. We cannot see the residual effect of these petrotoxins with the naked eye, but if we could, we would see millions of molecules all around us. It's the off-gassing of these products. And these molecules actually mimic the human estrogen molecule, or the human estrogen hormone that we have in the body. Our body can't determine that it's not our natural estrogen. So the off-gassing of Petro is mimicking the human estrogen hormone. So what that means is we are all daily uptaking estrogen mimicking toxins. And that's a serious problem, because, we're not going to, this is not about progesterone. We're not going to go that way, but I'm going to keep this simple. We know very clearly through research, we are all supposed to have a little bit of estrogen, our own estrogen, in the human body. And we're supposed to have a lot of progesterone in the human body. Dr. Lee, in this book, was written by Dr. John Lee. I'm going to segue for a moment. Dr. Lee was one of the first doctors that I know of that was publicly speaking about the toxins coming from petroleum and in the world around us. So he was and his research was on the importance of progesterone. So without getting into that whole conversation, when the estrogen comes up too far, it causes problems. It's what we call an endocrine disruptor. So if you remember, we talked about the endocrine system. The endocrine system are all the glands and the hormone, or the glands and organs that are pumping out the hormones that we pump out all day long. And it's those hormones that regulate us. That's the neurotransmitter. The endocrine system is affecting everything. It's affecting the brain. It's affecting our immune system. It's all working together. So when this imbalance is being created within the human body, it causes serious problems. So there's four, and I'm going to keep this simple. There's four categories of estrogen. There's human,
Okay.
plant,
Plant,
animal, man-made. Okay. The man-made are all linked to cancer, and have been for many, many, many years, if anybody is delving into the research. So we've known for a long time that this impact of Petro in our life is a serious problem. But of course, these are not conversations that you're going to hear in the nightly news. So this is why it's so important to me all these years that we do education on this and we raise the awareness, because the only way to really protect ourselves and our loved ones is to learn what can we change in our home, because that's where our power is. You can't, we're all surrounded with industry, right? You live with industry, you're exposed to what they're pumping out into the air. And actually, we know that industrial toxins are now worldwide. They're everywhere. They've contaminated the water, the soil, the air. They're everywhere worldwide. But some of us live in cities where we have heavy industry. Unless we choose to move, we don't have control over that. So our control goes back to, what are we doing in our home through what we're eating, what we're drinking, what we're using on our body, in the way of lotions and shampoos and all these different things. So when we talk about petrotoxins, it's understanding what are the basic products that you can learn to switch out. So we always, of course, first start with meat and dairy. We know that they started putting man-made synthetic estrogen into the feedlots back in the 50s, because they saw that they allowed the animal to get bigger faster. They gained weight faster, so they could get them to market faster. So they were saving money on feed, and they were getting a product to the market sooner. So, all these years, this is an everyday thing if you're eating commercial meat and drinking commercial dairy, or eating commercial dairy. This is why we always talk about, if you were able Seek out a small family farm in your neck of the woods. Find somebody that's grazing animals, that's raising cows, grass-fed, doing it properly, where they're not injecting them. They're exposed to fresh air and sunlight and the way animals should be raised. Same with chickens. So it's important to, we make these choices. Now, people will say, well, that organic meat, it's too expensive. Well, here's what I always teach people. When you get rid of the junk you don't need, now you have more discretionary income to put into your food for good quality. And again, I want to be respectful. There are people in this country struggling putting food on the table.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to oversimplify and ignore that fact, because we all know a lot of people are struggling. But at the end of the day, we have people that are spending lots of money on stuff they really don't need. They have tons of shoes and they're always getting, and I'm not picking on anybody. All these things are wonderful, but people are spending money getting their hair done, their nails done, and new cell phones, and they're buying new clothes and all these, whatever. They're buying all this stuff that they enjoy, which is great. But we're teaching people, prioritize your food, because that's our health. So besides changing out the meat, the dairy to clean, organic, however you want to, whatever it's termed now these days, you want to know that it doesn't have any hormones in it. But along with that, there's simple things that people just don't realize, such as commercial shampoo, hairspray, commercial cologne, and perfume. This is a biggie. I mean, the fragrance industry is worth billions worldwide, and you have millions of people buying all this cologne and perfume, and much of it is very expensive, but they don't know it's coming from petro derivatives, and they're putting it on their skin. It's going right into their blood. And even if some people say, well, they just put it on their clothes. Okay, well, they're still breathing it, right?
Yeah.
It's still a problem. And we know a lot of people, they smell somebody's perfume or cologne, they right away feel like they're going to get they get a headache, they're going to pass out, they get lightheaded. We hear this all the time. But there's other things within the home. We encourage people. All the commercial cleaning supplies that we've all been raised with, they're all petro-derived. So when we talk about switch to green cleaning supplies, what that means is they're safe. They're safe for you, they're safe for your family, they're safe for the environment. And a lot of people now, I mean, you can find a lot of recipes. Customers always come in and they're making their own cleaning agents, and they're making their own laundry soap, and they come in and they buy the essential oils from us. There's a lot of creative things we can do to go clean without costing a fortune. Another very common thing, we have a lot of people that burn candles in their homes. Well, candles are paraffin, and all synthetic fragrances come from petro. So do many of the synthetic flavors. The dyes, they're all petrotoxins. So literally people are eating petrotoxins, not just in the meat, not just in the dairy. If you're giving your kid commercial candy that's all colorful and pretty, they're getting it. If we see a lot of people that, they're spraying their home with the air fresheners. Those are all petro. That's why a lot of people are learning. Go to essential oils. You can diffuse them. You can make them into a nice mist. In fact, we sell a lot of nice air fresheners at our store. We sell a ton of them. But again, a lot of people want to make their own. We offer the supplies to do that. So all of these things are playing a big role. Another thing is good old-fashioned dryer sheets. People don't realize those
no
are
kidding. Dryer sheets?
They're all petro-based.
Wow.
So, all of these things are adding up. So we encourage people, look at what you're eating, look at what you're drinking, look at what you're putting on your body, change these products out. And the more that you can reduce your exposure to this daily impact of estrogenic toxins, it makes a big change in somebody's health. So all of it is adding up. Another thing is new home construction. You've got millions of people exposed to petro derivatives, and then you have the people that are working every day in environments. Industry, you've got painters, you've got carpet layers, you've got anyone in construction, beauticians. We get a lot of beauticians through the door. They're dealing with a lot of health issues. Well, they're in the environment where they're, you ever walk in a beauty salon?
Yeah, it's always a strong smell of something.
Exactly. So all of this off-gassing, if we could see with the naked eye all these molecules around us, these are, again, they're all estrogen mimicking. And in Dr. Lee's book, he talks about the amount of estrogen we should have in the human body. He uses the analogy, it's like 1 grain of salt in an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Whoa. Yeah.
Well, here we are, a nation being exposed daily, and it's accumulating, and it's taken a toll on a lot of people. We know that all petrotoxins are linked to cancer. They're linked to different forms of malignancies. So when we talk about, it's not only what we're being exposed to, but also what it's feeding in the human body. So fungus loves, sugar, and it loves antibiotics, and it loves man-made estrogen. So it's all, that's why, again, we talked about this last week. We're seeing, more men are coming to us with, they're getting hot flashes and night sweats. And we're seeing more men being diagnosed with breast cancer. And of course, way too many women are being diagnosed with breast cancer, and they have endometrial issues and fibroids, their breasts are developing fibroids, and all this we know very clearly is being fed by man-made estrogen. And it's interesting, sometimes a woman will come and say, well, the doctor told me that, she's producing too much estrogen. No, it's not that we're producing it. We're accumulating it.
Right. We're ingesting it and breathing it.
Exactly. And remember, it's fat soluble. So it's stored in our body until people come in to see us weirdos in health food stores.
Yeah.
And we teach them how to get it out of there.
Yeah, but you're a good weirdo.
Well, thank you.
All right, 2 things. First off, thank you for everybody that's watching. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section. We'll see them and we'll answer them as we go. Second question.
Yes.
Now, I know you always have stressed since our first podcast or Facebook Live the importance of reading labels. I'm getting better at it, but I have never noticed, or maybe I didn't look for it, or maybe there's not enough products that have it. Do products warn you, or do they have on the labels, Petro toxin free? Does that even exist?
Well, that's an interesting question. You'll see a lot of products now for body care and makeup. It'll say free of parabens or phthalates or whatever the derivative that they use in that product commercially. You'll see it on there now. It'll say,
so you have to know what is a petrotoxin to recognize it on a label.
Right.
Wouldn't it be so much easier if there was a line of products that was petrotoxin free?
Well,
and I'm sure you would carry it if it existed.
We do. All of our products are
petrotoxin free,
as close as we can find.
Okay.
Are without all these petrochemicals.
Okay.
Okay.
That's important to know, people.
Now, one of the things I just want to tell you real quick in this book by Dr. Lee, when you see this word xenohormone,
yes,
XENO, xenohormones, that's the category of man-made hormones.
So if you see anything with xeno in it,
you don't want it.
You don't want it.
Even though we're all getting it. But he lists, were common sources of xenohormones, solvents and adhesives, petrochemically derived pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, car exhaust, emulsifiers found in soaps. That's a biggie. And cosmetics. Nearly all plastics, industrial waste, meat from livestock. So you were getting all of this from a lot of different places. So that's why, again, knowledge is power. Awareness is so important to helping us reclaim our health, because do you hear anybody out in the world talking about these things?
Nope.
And the people that we would hope, the influences that we would hope would be sharing good sense information with the public isn't. So this is why we have to do it for ourselves.
Yep. And that's why this podcast and Facebook Live is so important.
Yes. Yeah. So at any rate, that's what and again, we're not going to get into this book today because this is a 2-hour class, I guess.
Yeah, but I'll tell you that looks powerful. I mean,
it's a powerful book.
If you could just understand some of the basics, so then you know what to look for.
Exactly. So that's a good book for this. And again, we've sold it for years. You'll find it in our book department. And I always tell people, everybody should read the book, forget the title. Because it doesn't matter if you're a guy. These synthetic hormones are affecting all of us, and they're causing total. We know very clearly breast cancer, prostate cancer, These are all linked to estrogenic overload. So what we do is teach people not only to learn how to reduce it, but then I brought some products today that we're going to go over. And one of my favorite products, and
well, before you do that, you want a question?
Sure.
Or a comment? This comes from Denise. Didn't John Rockefeller, who owned oil industry, buy out pharmaceuticals and add them to the medicines?
Well,
I mean,
yes, I mean,
it would make sense.
John Rockefeller Sr., he started the whole, he's known to start pharmaceuticals, but really anyway, this gets into the history. He aligned with IG Farben, and that opens up a whole new conversation about what we're talking about.
Stay tuned. That could come in weeks or days or months.
So that's a good conversation, but it's not what we're going to focus on right at the moment.
Products.
Okay. So products. So anyone that's ever been in our store, they've heard me talk about fungus. They've heard me talk about petrotoxins. And when we take them over to the area where we stock these products, you see this one.
Okay.
I'll have you show everybody. This is calcium deglucarate. And anyone that knows our store knows we have a full shelf of that product because we have hundreds and hundreds of people that we've educated on this product, and many of them will not go without it. So here's what calcium deglucarate is doing. So D-glucuric acid, that's what this is. D-glucuric acid is naturally occurring in the human body. Okay. And when you take it in a product like this, and I brought a good little book, you can show this. This is a great book. We stock it at the store, and you see what it says. D-glucarate, a nutrient against cancer, a new breakthrough in cancer research. D-glucarate helps remove toxins and carcinogens from the body.
Ooh.
This is why that product is so important, in my opinion. And this is a great little book. We keep it in the book department. I encourage people to read it. Calcium deglucarate is an amazing product. And what we know that it does, remember, and I'm going to keep this simple. When we talk about how does the body detox, there's 3 phases of how it detoxes. Anybody knows, this subject matter, they know there's 3 phases. Phase 1 is where the liver is cleaning the blood. Okay, it's cleaning stuff out of the blood, and it's doing its best to take what we call these strong estrogens and reduce them down to weaker ones. So the liver automatically is trying to take these toxins and make them not as toxic in the human body. Okay,
that's a good thing.
Then you have phase 2. Phase 2 is where now there are enzymes that are taking these toxins, making them water soluble and binding to them so you can get them out of the body. That's what this product does.
Okay.
And that's why it says on it, helps remove toxins and carcinogens from the body. And remember, there's a lot of research on this product. And I always, because we always hear, there's no research on any of those products. And I show people in the back of the book, look at all the research.
Wow.
There's a lot of research. There's years. In fact, some of the research in this book goes back to the 50s, I think, but there's even 50s or 60s. So it's been around a long time. And I think it's a very important product. We've never seen anyone have an issue with it. In fact, I always look up in some of the literature, do you see toxic adverse reactions? And that we know of, there is no toxic overload to any of the products we're going to talk about today.
So I take calcium every day because I'm getting old and I don't want to slip and break a hip.
Right.
It's good for bones. Now, would you take this in place of?
So I always
take it with.
Well, I always tell everybody, this is not a calcium supplement. This is D-glucuric acid, which is naturally occurring in the human body, and they bind it to a salt of calcium because that's how it gets utilized through the digestive tract. So remember, D-glucuric acid, which is what this product is naturally occurring in us. But I always tell people all these amazing things that we produce to help us deal with toxins, all these pathways are getting overwhelmed because the toxins are coming in so fast and furious. So that's why when we use things like, a lot of people talk about the importance of antioxidants. Well, that's what antioxidants are doing. They're helping the body deal with different types of toxins. This particular product is addressing fat-soluble, stored toxins that are carcinogenic. It binds to them and mainly dumps it out through the urine. So it's a wonderful product.
It says take 2 with every meal. So 3 times a day.
Yes. Now,
that's how you recommend to start it out.
That's how we do. Now,
so would this be a good product just for overall general health?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, and I always tell people, you can do 6 a day. We have many people. We brought this in. I read the research, and literally the next day I brought it in. That was 20 some years ago. I said to Jim, well, this just makes sense. This is an important product. It's helping to get these toxins that are building up in us out. So ever since that, 20 some years ago, we have literally, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of people on this product, maybe more. And we have people that have been on it all those years. They will not go without it. Now, one of the things we've seen over the years and where we really first started using it, women that are getting hot flashes and night sweats and all these things, we know that that's an impact of toxins. Because if we go back pre-industry, to my knowledge, and I've talked to other people that study this, to my knowledge, we've never seen a definition for hot flashes and night sweats in any literature pre-industry. So they came in with industry, which is why we're now seeing men get hot flashes and night sweats. It took time for it to build up, but it's all accumulating.
Now, Amy says, thank you, Claudia, for helping me with my hormones. I faithfully take this product on a daily basis.
Hi,
my family is forever grateful. Prayer hands.
Well,
and a heart.
And she's wonderful. Amy's been with us a long time, and I'll tell you, she has a heart of gold, and she talks to everybody in her world about good health and embracing it and how to learn to do it. And I love you, Amy. She sent a lot of people in over the years because it's in her heart. She truly, truly wants others to learn this stuff so they can help themselves.
Way to go, Amy.
Yep.
Love it. Now, here's something that I find, because everybody knows in my circle that I have changed my diet drastically. I've cut my alcohol to like nothing, and they're now coming to me and asking me because they're seeing the weight loss.
Right.
They're seeing a difference. They can't really pinpoint what it is, but they know there's something different about me.
Right.
So they're coming to me. I'm not going to them.
Isn't that cool?
I just like my one friend Steve that I sent to you.
Yes.
He's changing his diet and things, and I talked to him yesterday, and he said he's feeling so much better.
Oh, good. I'm so happy.
But
to
it
hear
takes
that.
time, because
it takes time.
I mean, all the years that we ate the wrong stuff and everything that's in us, it's going to take months and probably years to find where you need to be consistent with it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Don't expect it to happen overnight.
Right.
Oh, this doesn't work. I'm not going to do it. No, it's a lifestyle change when you're ready to do it. And I was ready to do it.
Yes.
Like so many others are ready to do it. So it's exciting. Very exciting.
And I'm so happy for you. And I tell everybody that's embracing their health and reclaiming it, I'm so happy for them. And I'm proud of them, because it's a big deal. It's a big commitment. But the more that people are willing to engage in it, they start feeling a little bit better, excuse me, and it gives them the motivation and the inspiration to keep going.
Here's the thing too, with people saying, oh, the products are so expensive. I am saving so much money because I'm not going out to dinner as much. My wife, not a big fan of that. We went out for her birthday the other night. I took her out to a nice place, and I had a nice meal. It tasted fine, but I tried to eat, I had some perch, and the next day I was off. There was something going on. I didn't feel right. And then I ate clean the next day, and then I feel fine.
Right.
So, I mean, the money that I'm saving, because we would go out to eat 3 to 4 days a week. I mean, it's just the way it is. Our kids are, one's at college. My daughter's doing her thing. So it's like, what do you want to do for dinner? I don't know. You want to go here? And I'm just like, okay. But now I tell them, I said, look, next week, my son's birthday, I said, Wednesday's the only day I'm going out to eat. So if you guys want to go out, have at it. But it's not that I don't trust myself. I mean, because I'm reading the book, Eat to Your Blood Type.
Right.
So I know what to stay away from, but I don't know how they're preparing it.
Well, but I think that this is a very important statement. So you can go, there's a lot of lovely restaurants in this community. And of course, we always, if we're going to go eat, we go to family owned. We don't do, the chain restaurants. So there's a lot of great restaurants, but they might be, listen, somebody can make a beautiful salad, but if the salad is not without pesticides and you eat it, some people are sensitive enough that they're going to have an immediate response. They're going to feel it. So you're going through that process where you're learning so many wonderful things and you're utilizing them in your health and your life. So in time, you'll find a balance. And remember also, when we stop, I always say when we stop putting toxins in the body says, well, it's about time. Thanks. So here you go. Here's all of them. And it's trying to mobilize all these toxins to get them out. So there's a process in the beginning that a lot of people experience, like what you're talking about. But the more that somebody can stay the course and make it a lifestyle, that's when the body gets stronger. Because remember, we're teaching people it's not just about changing what you're eating. It's about using the supplements as the support. Because that's the importance of supplementation, is it's giving the body the tools it needs to do what it's capable of doing. And that's what I always want to remind everybody of, that the way God, or whatever you want to say, whoever created us, the way we're created is magnificent. We are an intricate, sophisticated machine, the way our body works, and we are designed to be well. Our body is designed, when we don't feel well, it's designed, given the right tools, to help us feel better. That's why we all have an immune system.
Right.
That's what it's there for. And unfortunately, you see influences that are trying to convince the public that their immune system isn't good enough. Well, it's a sad thing. And a lot of people at this point, they're not buying it. So remember, and I always say, if you're a carpenter and you know how to build a home, but you don't have any tools in your toolbox, you can't build anything.
No.
So our body knows exactly what it needs to do, but it needs the right tools to be able to do what it's capable of doing.
All right, let's get to some more products,
All
because
right,
the time
so-
is flying by.
So I brought a couple. This is, okay. So this particular one, this is a great product. This is, now there's two other products that we mainly use. There's calcium diglucarate, which we talked about. It's binding to these toxins and it's helping to pull them out of the body, and people feel it. It's amazing. DIM, what this one is, see this DIM, diethylmethane. This is a product that is supporting the liver to better do what it does, which means one of the things, well, that's weird what I just said. It's helping the liver to take these strong toxins and start weakening them.
Got it.
That's what DIM does. And I want to say, when we talk about declocuric acid, when we talk about DIM, and then the other thing we're going to talk about is broccoli extract, broccoli sulforaphane. All of these items are naturally found heavily in cruciferous veggies. Okay? So there's all these different beautiful compounds in food. Cruciferous veggies happens to have some of these, the DIM and the diglucarate and the broccoli sulforaphane. What's interesting, especially about when we talk about the broccoli extract, when we are, if there's all these beautiful enzymes in food, but when we talk about these particular products, when you eat broccoli, it has to be, you either have to chew it, cut it. These enzymes get activated when it's what they say damaged. Okay. So now, obviously, if somebody's going to eat broccoli, they're going to chew it. Well, even if they juiced it.
Smoothie, juice it.
Even if they juice it. But nonetheless, these compounds are in there, but they get activated when we take them in. Okay, so all three of these products that I brought are naturally occurring in the human body. We're just helping we're just giving it more so it can do what it's capable of doing. So DIM supports the liver to help it weaken these strong toxins. And then broccoli sulforaphane is a beautiful product. It actually is increasing an enzyme that is very cellular protective, and it helps all these products. If you look at the research, they all say helps protect the body from malignancies, from cancer. So, and there's a lot of research going on with all of them. So these are very powerful. They're safe for everybody, to my knowledge. And again, we've been selling them for years. We've never seen anybody. The only time we've ever seen an issue with the calcium glucarate, I had a gentleman, he was on a lot of different meds, and he had a history of some kidney issues. And he could not do the 6 a day. He could only do 1 a day. But he did 1 a day faithfully for a long time. He worked in a factory, and it really helped him with a lot of things. But at any rate, overall, they're very safe. They're wonderful for everybody. And we actually have, if we want to talk about the impact of petrotoxins, I'll just throw this in. As I always say, we have a lot of doctors that refer to us. About 10 years ago, there was a doc that sent a family in. There was a 6-year-old little girl. She was starting to develop.
Oh, boy.
She was 6 years old. The family was traumatized. For me, it's a spiritual issue. I mean, no little girl should be developing and starting her cycle. So the family was upset. The doctor, I'm grateful that he knew to send them our way, because he said, I don't know what to do for you. We actually started her on some of these products, and it slowed down the process.
Awesome. What's the last product you brought?
Well, I didn't realize I grabbed the same. These are
it's same thing, Dim?
Same thing, just 2 different companies.
Okay.
So some of these, we sell these products individually. We sell them as combos. I like to start individually to get the higher levels. Then over time, a lot of people will then just do them all in one capsule. They're going to get lower levels, but the longer you do them, you may not need the high levels unless I worked yesterday. We had a guy from the Davis Bessie, and anyway, he had a lot of, he'll probably take 6 of those for a long time. But so they're all wonderful products. And just know that even though we're being impacted with toxins from modern times, we have our power to help ourselves, to protect ourselves and protect our families.
Do you want to mention those other books before we wrap it up?
Real quick, I'll just show this. And I meant to bring the original. I first learned about petrotoxins. I read go this way. I read Rachel Carson's original book, Silent Spring, and I forgot to bring it. It's a great book. It was written in 1962. And there's a quote that I just want to read before we go. It says, and she said this in the 60s, if we are living so intimately with chemicals, eating and drinking them, taking them into the very marrow of our bones, we had better know something about their power. So remember, Rachel Carson will always be known for bringing this awareness of indiscriminate use of pesticides, just spraying it around all over the place, and what it's doing not only to us but the environment. So that's another part of the conversation we don't have time to get into. But I was at an environmental conference in it was 4 years ago, and it was wonderful to be with a group of people. There were over 600 people there. They were all naturopaths. I'm trained as a naturopath. There were naturopaths, there were a few MDs, there were some chiropractors, but it was 600 people at a 3-day conference that were actively recognizing, yes, this is the reality of modern times. We're being surrounded with toxins. Let's not avoid them. Let's not ignore them. Let's not pretend they don't exist. We need to teach people they do exist. So what can we do about them? So there's more going on now with this education, and I'm very happy to see it.
All right, tell everybody what we're doing next week.
So next week we're going to have Mike Ferner.
Mike Ferner, my man.
And and we're going to talk about the problems with confined animal farming, which are atrocious. The animals are very abused, and these are closed buildings. They never get fresh sun, fresh water. They're treated inhumanely, and all those toxins then are going into the waterways. So we're going to be talking about how CAFOs, what we call confined animal farming, are really one of the leading causes at this point of what's going on with our lakes. They're causing a serious problem
every year. The algal bloom.
So I just want to tell everybody, next time before you go through a fast food restaurant, remember, if you're eating meat that's cheap, I always tell people, if you can buy a burger for $2 a burger, you better wonder what happened to the life of that cow to devalue it. Yeah. So we can all make great steps to help move our country forward in a positive way. And the last thing I just want to say, paying for sickness in the United States is costing us literally trillions of dollars. So the more people that are able, if they become willing to start making these baby step changes, we can make an amazing impact in a positive way in the United States, that for ourselves and everybody. So next time you fly through a fast food restaurant, remind yourself, those animals did not live a good life. They're toxic, and now somebody's going to eat it. So.
All right. Those of you watching, please share the video. The podcast will be up by Monday. And like always, Claudia, you get the last word.
Well, I just want to say I'm so grateful you and I are doing this together.
Me too. I love it. I love our Fridays.
Thank you. Me too. And a lot of people out there are learning about our Fridays, and they're loving them too. So thank you. And as always, I'm always going to remind everybody, we all have great potential to make change in this country. We have to be willing to do it from our heart, outside of the system. Because I always remind everybody, the system is designed to do what the system does. It's never going to give us answers. It's always going to keep looking for the answers. We have to find them ourselves through heart, through our knowledge, through our own trust. And remember, God provides. Our body is magnificent. We have the most powerful, beautiful pharmacy that's been on this planet for thousands of years. So the more you learn about it, the greater it will be for your health and everybody else's. So keep the faith, share your love, shine your light. Light's beautiful. So see you next week. Peace.